So we're going to show you now how to set your wheels up tubeless. So before we do that, just to run through the things that you're going to need. You'll need the tape, which is supplied with the wheels, and the tubeless valves, which are the correct length. A pair of scissors to cut the tape. We actually recommend using a knife to cut the tape into an X shape, sealant of choice, and obviously your tubeless tyre. You may also need some work gloves to help protect your hands through the process. So first step is to take your wheel and to apply the tubeless tape. So we're going to use the wheel stand here. Find the end. And you should start approximately 2 spoke holes past the valve hole. So to apply the tape, pull it taut, nice and tense, and then use your thumb to press it down inside the rim. And then just rotate the wheel round, pulling it tight as you go. Use your thumb to press down in the centre to make sure that it covers the entire internal rim channel, and keep it straight so that it's nice and aligned. So once you've got your 2 layers for road pressures, we recommend that you then overlap 2 further spoke holes past the valve hole in order to make sure you've got full coverage. And then take your scissors and just cut diagonally across the tape to finish the wrap. Just push that down and in, making sure there's no air bubbles left underneath. So then find the valve hole, take your knife and cut through, making sure that you're cutting through the valve hole, not a spoke hole. And here we're going to use an X pattern to make sure that when we put the valve in, we don't tear the tape any further. So to insert the valve, unscrew the top and the locking ring, push it into place, apply the rubber O-ring, and then the locking nut. You only want to put the valve on loosely at this stage so that we can fit the tyre. So now that's done, we can start to fit the tyre. Again, worth checking just to make sure whether or not your tyre has a specific direction to it. It's usually marked on the carcass. And of course, making sure to line up the valve hole with the logos on the tyre. So at this stage, we're going to start by putting over one side of the tyre bead and just fitting that onto the rim. This should go on fairly easily by hand. So now we've got the first side of the bead on, you can start to loosely apply the second side. And at this point, we're not going to go all the way around because we want to leave an opening at the bottom. So now we can take our sealant. Some of the bottles will have a measurement on the side to make sure we put in the correct amount, and pop that into the tyre. And then rotate so that the sealant pulls at the bottom. At this point, you might want to put some gloves on just to protect your hands as you start to get the rest of the bead onto the rim. So again, making sure that the tyre is sitting in the middle of the channel, just work your way around. At this point, you might need to use your tie lever just to encourage the last bit of the bead into place. So now we've got the rest of the bead on. Just need to rotate so that the valve is sitting at the top and tighten the valve nice and tight. Make sure we've got an airtight seal. So we're now ready to inflate. In the workshop, we're going to use a compressor. You can use an air pump or a chamber pump, or in some instances just the track pump will do the job. If you're struggling to get enough air in, again, you might just need to remove the valve core. You might hear the odd crack or click as the tyre bead seats into place. That looks to be on. So now we'll just check to make sure that the bead is correctly seated. And you can adjust the pressure to suit for your road running. And we have a tubeless setup. Then finally, you just want to check that the tyre is fully seated, so give the wheel a spin. Make sure it's sitting true. And let's just give the wheel a shake just to make sure that the sealant is fully dispersed inside the tyre. So wheel ready to fit.